wanted to make a thank you to everyone who is subscribed to this channel that is a neighbor or somebody we handed out the card to or let you know about our YouTube channel and that you subscribed so that you could learn more about what we're doing. We are trying to create a urban oasis and food forest creation. So if you haven't had a chance to talk to us, we would love to give you a tour of each individual plant and help you learn about the plants in your area. But real fast in this video, we can show you that the idea of concept of a food forest. So right here we have a peach tree that goes right over the sidewalk so that people can have peaches as they walk through. We unfortunately did have to put a little pole right here to help it hold the peach tree up so it wasn't actually in anybody's face. But hopefully later on, not only do we have another peach tree coming up, but eventually down the decade we have a pecan tree that will come up, and it's far enough in that it shouldn't affect too much of the city's lines, but we should hopefully have this pecan tree provide shade for over the sidewalk and maybe people can have pecans. It is a pretty big tree though, so we're not sure if we're going to move it or not further in. But there are all kinds of wonderful plants that we have. I would not suggest harvesting them yourself when you come through because we do have lookalikes. So in here we have the sweet potato greens, but next to the sweet potato greens you might also find some morning glories. I don't see any right off the bat, but you need to be able to distinguish between a sweet potato, a morning glory, and a Carolina snail vine. Carolina snail vine could potentially kill you. The morning glory I don't think would kill you, but basically it is wonderful to know that your neighbors are growing plants that are good for you to eat, but you might want to have their help when you help harvest from their land so that you know exactly what it is. But in here you have sweet potatoes, we have longevity spinach, we have these pecans slowly growing out, we have these beautiful flowers right here called nasturtiums, which is a nice spicy edible. And I don't know if there's any lookalikes on that one, but the idea is do ask the people that any neighbors to know exactly for sure that there is not a lookalike. For example, we have a garlic chive right here, but there are about 4 different lookalikes to this garlic chive that could be very poisonous. So just because you're like, oh look, it looks like one of the garlic chives, I would not eat it because there is a plant here that is, I think it's there's the false onions, there's some lilies, there's some narcissus, which are really deadly poisonous. You don't want to eat those. And they don't quite look exactly like that, but if you don't know your plants, they could look just like this. There's a rain lily. Anyways, the point is make sure that you are taught. So if you are ever here, we can give you classes, we can help you learn individually about each and every plant that you have in their neighborhood, that we have here in our yard. We have a mixture of your standard, typical ornamentals like this creeping daisy that you see a lot in our state or in Houston. But this is not edible. I wish it was. It's a really pretty flower. I do love its yellow flowers. To other things that could be edible and you're just not sure yet. So come to our yard, we will teach you, and you can make a small donation when we teach you. Those are goldenrods right there. People might think it's a weed, but it's actually a native goldenrod because we are trying to pass the native plant test so that we have more natives in the yard, so that we can show that natives can be also useful. This native goldenrod, we hear it's medicinal. We don't know quite what the medicinal qualities are, so you'll have to do your own research. And any plant, never take anybody else's word. Just because somebody else ate it and they didn't have a problem, you need to make sure that you also go through and research it. We research every plant we eat for 2 years before we even come close to trying it, and then there's a whole bunch of scenarios of things that you do to taste it, to make sure it is edible. This is another native plant that's in here. So we have the creeping daisy, but then we have some natives stuck in here amongst it. So this is a dayflower, and this is horse herb. Just because it says the word herb does not mean it's edible, but the dayflower is, although it's no taste to it and it's really bland, so unless you're starving, go ahead and skip it. And again, Just because I say it's edible does not mean it's edible. Just because I can eat it does not mean you can. You might be deathly allergic to some plant that somebody else can eat. So always go through scenarios of checking on your skin, doing the skin test, doing the lip test, doing the tongue test, doing the putting it in your mouth for 5 minutes and then spitting it out. And there's a whole bunch of other things to do too that you could do to be extra safe. Do your research before you ever try a plant. But the only one I possibly think that it would be okay for you to try from our yard if you've never tried a plant would probably be our longevity spinach, the Guinea procumens, because it's just so healthy. But again, know which plant it is. Don't just harvest yourself because you might not be guessing right. I don't know if we have lookalikes like this. I don't think so, but just in case, you don't want to find out the hard way. So we will be happy if you live in our neighborhood to help harvest for you and to give you little samples if we are here. So if we're here in the afternoon, definitely come by. If you see us out in our garden, we would be welcome to help harvest later in the summer for you, share some of our harvest. But that is, if it's in, we have to wait for it to be a little bit further in the summer when there's more of it. Although the sweet potato you could probably start harvesting now. And again, know which one is a sweet potato. Don't just make a guess, because there are lookalikes, and even amongst the sweet potatoes themselves, there are so many variations. So make sure you do know which one is a sweet potato, which one is a morning glory, which one is a snail vine, which one is a pothos ivy. They're all so similar looking. Anyways, thank you again. I hope to see you around in the neighborhood and give you a tour of the individual plants, teaching you about each and every different plant, because we want to encourage people to have food forests in their yard. And right now it doesn't seem like much, but with people's helps and donations, we can help get more fruit trees, more nut trees. So we can have, right now we do have these acorn nuts, but we hope to have more pecans, more other trees that we hope to get through donations and just trial and error of what we try and experiment. We have some banana trees back there, but not a great spot, and we can tell you why in a different video. So we hope that you will subscribe to this channel and learn more about all the different things that we have, because there are so many things like this magnolia tree. Did you know that the magnolia flowers could be considered edible? We have not tried them ourselves. You again need to do your own research. This is baby one, so it won't have flowers for another decade. But the idea is to learn, and we want to help share any bit of knowledge that we have. So stay subscribed, and hopefully we'll make some better videos for you. Thank you so much. Okay.